Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in HMS Hood. But before we get into that, I gotta tell you guys something. You guys are making me jump off a bridge. Not in the way you think. But you guys may have noticed the last few weeks we've had a little goal in the bottom of the live streams. This came from you guys suggesting a goal, in which case, if we meet that goal in a certain time frame, that I would have to jump off a bridge. Bungee jumping, of course. So, I agreed to this, thinking, what are the odds that y'all make that happen? Well, in that first live stream alone, you guys got about a third of the way to the goal. Then, throughout the next couple of weeks, you guys got a little bit closer. And then last night, in the last 20 minutes of my farm sim stream, y'all knocked it out of the park to the point where I have no choice now but to schedule a bungee jumping trip in Kentucky. And I'm gonna be jumping off a bridge. It's official. This game has made me jump off a bridge. But no, I can't thank you guys enough. I set the goal thinking that there's probably a good chance y'all didn't quite pull it off. No, y'all crushed it. It's kind of crazy. So thank you guys so much for all of your continued support, and I hope you guys are looking forward to it. But it's not all as easy as it seems, okay? It's going to take a minute for me to get everything booked and set up, and I may even see if I can talk old Aaron into joining me, though I won't make him do it, you know, obviously. It's just one of those things. I might throw a little nudge out there and be like, hey, you know, I'm about to jump off a bridge. Would you like to join me? Wait, that sounds terrible. What is the old saying? If a friend asked you if you want to jump off a bridge, would you do it? Yes. The answer is always yes, right? but no. I might see if Aaron wants to join me for the bungee jumping trip because hopefully we can make it work. But anyway, I can't just go out and do this right away because the closest place to me is in Kentucky. It's a place called Vertigo Bungee Jumping, and so I will be getting in contact with them. But they have weight limits for their bungee jumping, and right now I'm a little bit too heavy, which is good because I'm already on the path of losing weight. So I'm gonna give myself a couple of months to drop some weight and get myself in things. But they only do 3 days a week from May through October. So I kind of have a limited time frame to schedule it for this year. So I'm going to probably shoot for either September or October, depending on my weight scenario and how much I'm able to lose before then. Because I've got to get under 250 pounds. And currently, I'm at 260 pounds. So I got to lose 10 pounds before the trip. Preferably more than 10 pounds, because the last thing I want to do is end up having the freaking bungee rope destroy me. So anyway, if I don't post after the trip, you guys will know what happened. I ate too much ice cream. But no, thank you guys so much for your continued support. You guys have always made this possible. Like, I can't do this without you guys. Legitimately, I can't do it without you. And all my live streams that I do, you guys are always so generous. And it's that generosity from you guys and the support from you guys that has always made it to where I have been able to chase my dream. Like, I've always wanted to set out and maybe do this for a living, you know? I didn't initially set out to do that for a living, but I was thinking, okay, well, I watch a lot of YouTube, and some of these guys aren't that impressive, so maybe there's a chance. If they can do it, maybe I can too. Now, I potato pretty hard here. I anticipated him launching the other direction. I think he was actually launching at the cruiser there, because I dodged the first set of torps. But I ended up turning in and eating 2 torps, which is going to come back and bite me in the butt later on. We're still going to have us a heck of a game. We are pushing in hardcore here. And you can see these cruisers out here on the edge. We're in a good position to deal with them. Now, because I know that they're shooting torps at me, I mean, the Miyoko was pretty obvious with it. I'm ended up broadside to a Nelson. Now, fortunately, the Nelson tends to shoot a lot of HE, and this guy doesn't understand that he can load armor piercing and be nasty with it, but thankfully he doesn't. But we catch this Dallas being ultimately disrespectful, and we slap the ever-living crap out of him. That short fuse armor piercing doesn't mess around with cruisers. But unfortunately, we leave him with just enough to get away. Now, I want you to pay attention to my Dallas out here on the edge, okay? My Dallas is going to take all year to get rid of their Dallas, even though their Dallas is like dead at this point, right? Like, he needs to be able to kill this guy. And there he goes. He actually gets rid of him. Maybe it wasn't Dallas. Maybe it's the Miyoko. But Dallas should have no trouble dealing with the Miyoko, especially a Miyoko that I'm going to help soften up a little bit, right? You've got the DPM advantage, and you can see I am getting a couple of hits here and there. Not the best hits in the world, but I'm also getting shot at by the Nelson, so the Dallas shouldn't have a whole lot he's got to worry about other than the Miyoko. But it's always interesting when you come up against players that just don't have that confidence. The Dallas is a nasty boat, and it can absolutely murder cruisers at its tier because of that high DPM. But unfortunately, our Dallas didn't get the memo. He's going to play very, very passively. He doesn't use his agility to his advantage. One of the good things about light cruisers at lower tiers is that their guns rotate really, really quickly, usually. And because of that, they're able to keep those guns on target while making big maneuvers to keep themselves from getting slapped around. Now, this Miyoko's not even paying attention to our Dallas right now. So again, our Dallas should be able to slap the crap out of this guy. But I'm having to tank all of the damage, which is fine because I've got heals, I've got good damage control, ability. Now Cheshire comes over and he starts messing with this Dallas a little bit, which is not ideal. But again, that's another heavy cruiser, and our Dallas, as long as he pays attention and gets himself agile, he should have no trouble dealing with these guys pretty easily. And we're going to go ahead and try to catch this Cheshire not paying attention as we shoot over the top of the island, and we get a beautiful looking shot, but the accuracy just wasn't there, and he gets to get away with it. But it's at this point I have to make a decision. We've got a Nelson in front of us. We've got two cruisers out here, both heavy cruisers with nasty HEs that I can't angle against and will do damage regardless of where it hits. And we've got a Nelson also shooting HE that's going to do damage regardless of where it hits. Now, as much as I want to rush this Nelson and send him to the Shadow Realm, I know that it's not in my best interest to try to do so. So we're going to get a couple of shots here and there. We're going to try to get as skinny as possible, utilizing the island cover to try to protect ourselves. Because we need to use the island to separate ourselves and get some heals off, right? Otherwise, we're not going to last long enough, right? We need to try to stay alive. And then they get the triple fire, so I have to damage con that. But we're about to go dark. We're about to go behind the hill. So we should be good. We're going to get one more shot here at the Nelson. He disappears just in time, but I already had the shot aimed up and ready to go, and we slap him pretty good. Miyoko's still shooting at me. Our Dallas is hiding behind the island, afraid to actually engage, which is obnoxious for me because it means everybody is shooting at me. And then on top of that, I've got guys across the map that I've got to deal with as well. Unfortunately, they get another fire on me. I have to damage con that single fire, A, because I don't think I'm going to get set on fire again anytime soon, and B, because I don't want to lose any more hurt pins. I got a lot of, I only got 2 heals left. I've used all my heals, right? Now, this is going to be one of those situations where I forget about certain ships, right? Like, there's a lot of ships in the game, and I keep a pretty good memory for most ships in the game in terms of what I go up against, but there's some ships that you just don't go up against very often, and sometimes it catches you off guard, and the Veribus Unitas is one of those. Now, I don't remember what the Veribus Unitas is. All I know is that it's decent, right? So we're going to take a shot at the Cheshire, and we finally get rid of him. That's huge. That leaves our Dallas out there on the flank to deal with the Miyoko that's low health and potentially a Nelson who's using or staying behind the island. But now he's requesting support. He's trying to run away. He's getting chased down by a heavy cruiser, and this is just a short amount of time before he ends up going down. Veribus Unitas, as you can see, I'm going to come around the corner just as he fires his guns, which is perfect for me, but he actually fires his guns at my Dallas, which is not ideal. And then we're going to try to get in here and punch through the bow side plating, and we only hit him with 2 shells. And again, this is one of those situations where this was the night that I recorded my other hood game that you guys saw, but my hood was being so freaking inaccurate because of the HE. I don't know if you guys noticed that little icon there. I've lost all the AA on my ship. It doesn't really matter in this game because there's no planes, but I'm just saying, like, I lost all of the AA on my ship, which is ridiculous. It doesn't happen very often, but it just goes to show just how devastating that HE is for your AA. So if you are ever in a carrier match, you want to steer clear of HE spammers if at all possible. But boy, I just can't get away from everything. I'm in a lot of trouble. Now, you ever get a feeling that somebody's going to try to ram you? Yeah, I got that tingling sensation at the base of my spine here, thinking that this guy was definitely going to ram me. So here you can see I screw the pooch. I should have aimed higher than that. I should have went for superstructure. You can tell that thing definitely has an extended belt that goes all the way up to the bow. And again, it just comes down to lack of experience against specific ships. But we now know that he does for sure. And fortunately for us, the Collingwood behind us actually bails us out and allows us to live a little bit longer. We dodged the shells from the Poltava, and I really was hoping to live long enough to get another shot off, but unfortunately, our concealment's going to get us caught up here in a moment. So we're going to go ahead and get ready. I don't want to fire my guns here. 18 seconds, I get a heal off, but unfortunately, we get a little too close to the Poltava, and I hesitate here. After I fire my guns, I needed to continue the turn away to dodge the incoming shells. I do take out the Poltava, but he ends up trading with me, which is not ideal for my team. But at the end of the day, our team shouldn't throw this away. We've got a full health Collingwood that should absolutely chew anything up that's left. We know that the Miyoko's got no health. We know that the Collingwood can absolutely annihilate a Nelson. But then again, if the Nelson loads AP, he can absolutely annihilate a Collingwood as well. So here's where we need to point out some obvious inexperience from our teammate. So as we pay attention, he's got a full broadside Nelson inside 11 kilometers in a Collingwood. He fires his guns. Good news is he is firing AP, but look at that first shot. Like, where is he shooting? He just barely clips the front of the bow of the Nelson. Like, you've got to do a better job of like leading your targets. You got to understand like the range and the flight time. There is a reason why when you're aiming down sights, they give you a flight time to the target. Now, he puts a much better shot out there that time, but still aiming a bit too far forward. He wants to aim just a little bit further back than that. He wants to hit just under the middle of the superstructure, if at all possible, at this angle. Now, if the Nelson is bow tanking you, that's a different story. Here, he gets pretty unlucky, at least from my perspective. I don't know, maybe he just didn't aim far enough ahead of the Miyoko, but it looked like he got pretty unlucky there. But his mismanagement of the damage cons has lost all of his hit points real quick. Like, he went from full health to very little health very quickly because of the fires in this match. Now, fortunately, he puts the triple fire out, gets a heal off, and we know that he's got a super heal, so he's going to have no trouble there. But he's also being extremely passive here, and that's just making matters worse. Because he's backing off, it's allowing the Nelson to keep him spotted. It's allowing the Nelson to continue to beat on him while gaining some distance from him. And the Nelson also has the Miyoko back there. Now, he's got another good-looking shot here. This time looks a little bit more promising, and you can see he does massive damage. I don't think he actually citadeled him there, but he definitely got full penetrations from all 4 of those rounds and chunked that man for probably 15K. I didn't see exactly how much. I wasn't really paying attention to how many squares he got, but because he's shooting AP, the Nelson's not able to heal all of that back. Now, because the Nelson gets super heals, he does heal a lot more of that back than a standard heal, but it's still better than shooting HE, right? But the Nelson's continuing to get fires, the Miyoko's continuing to get fires, but the good news is the Collingwood understands that we have the lead. If he dies, that brings this unnecessarily close, even if he dies, it's only a 100-point swing, we still win this game. But recognizing when you have the advantage and there's no reason to actually push in here is also a good thing to point out. So while he has had some unfortunate aiming and not XP, but RNG, you can see one shell there, just aiming too high. The Nelson's turning towards him. He doesn't adjust for that, ends up having the shots fly over, and that's probably about the end of this. The cruisers behind him are getting some shots in as well, using him as cover essentially. But as the Nelson pushes in towards him, this is actually better for the Collingwood, because the Collingwood can absolutely punch straight through his bow and citadel him. You see, I look away for a second, and again, he aims a little bit too high here, doesn't adjust for the fact that the Nelson's coming towards him, hits towards the superstructure. This is either inexperience for not knowing that you overmatch something, or just straight up not being able to aim very well. But little things like that cost you during a match. Miyoko gets himself spotted. Again, has no hit points. All they got to do is get one good shot in and finish him off. One shell will do it from the battleship. But battleship hides behind the island, breaks contact, is no longer spotted, and now he gets to potentially get a shot over the island here at the Miyoko if the cruisers don't manage to take him out first. Cruisers hit him, leave him with just enough to get away. Ain't that the way it goes? Will our cruiser finish him off? They got the shot in the air. It's high explosive. All it has to do is touch him. And bonk. They managed to take him down. Finally, that Miyoko goes down. Remember how much I took off of that Miyoko? Like, most of that health that that man lost was from me earlier in the match. And that man managed to survive until, like, 3 seconds left in the match. Unfortunate. Continuing to be a problem for our team. But we did pretty well in this one. 131,000 damage, Confederate high caliber, top of the leaderboard. 2,462 base XP with Collingwood coming in second, bailing me out against that Viribus Unitas. But yeah, if you guys are interested in looking forward to the video of me jumping off the bridge, I highly recommend you punch that like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.